Hey, what's up, everyone? I think I should be get. I should think I should be going. Uh, so let me just set things up, and we'll get started. All right, cool. We're good. Let's get going. So this is office hours. Welcome to office hours. Right now, I'm gonna just see if people are gonna come in, and until people start chatting, I'm kind of gonna just be doing my own thing. So if you are here, you can say hi, and if you have any questions, uh, send them over in chat. Okay, so that's my little announcement, and I'm just gonna chill and catch up on my Discord server stuff. I'm a little behind because this weekend was there was a lot of stuff happening this weekend besides the SAT for me, so just catching up on things now. I did literally just catch up on this actually on my phone while I was getting home, so I guess this isn't totally new to me, but I'm kind of just seeing some of this stuff here. And then we have a question here that I didn't actually answer earlier today, so I'm just gonna look at this real quick. If you're here, just feel free to just say hi. Let me know who you are. If you're not an SAT person, you're just here because of other stuff like reading, writing, or just anything in general. We can talk about general things as well. How do I improve? I'm a hard worker. Uh, it's it's okay. I'm realizing I can't really give any advice for somebody who's asking such a broad question like this, so I'm kind of just turning the question back on him. Again, if you're here, feel free to say hi. Let me know why you're here. And if you have any questions, I can address your questions. Let's see. I think I'm caught up on most. I probably need to. I need to think about this, bros. I am a little overwhelmed. Okay. Um, college apps. Yeah, I might as well just say put this out there while I'm here, just saying. So some of you guys may actually want tutoring from me, but you don't know that I tutor because I don't try to advertise it very heavily in my YouTube channels. But if you do want tutoring from me directly, I can help you with college application essays as well as SAT reading writing. So the details about that, you can kind of get more details just by emailing me, which you can find the email address in the description below. Okay. I think I might organize like a little college writing something for the next couple weeks, but it's very fuzzy in my head because I actually am dealing with some complications with this winter break. So I'm a little unclear on how busy I'm going to be right now. So um, more announcements to come down the pipeline soon, I guess. But if you want to stay kind of in more like day to day touch with me, you can just join the Discord server where I'm actually chatting with people, except during my off days. But generally, I'm pretty active here, so you can just like chat with me there if you don't want to wait for my weekly streams. Okay, so it's been a while. I'm just gonna sweep through some of this stuff here, just because it's been a while. And again, if you are here joining, you can just say hi and ask me any questions you got. C is not very common. Can I get to a better one? Is that a word? That's the last name. That's definitely a last name. I don't think it's the word Ling. All right, whatever. I'm gonna go with the C. Oh my god, that's such crap. Okay. Uh, Nevmar. Nelar. Ne- I guess it could be an A at the beginning. And Angel, it doesn't work. Okay, so ankle? No, the E that can't be at the end. bro. Oh, dude, it's the only word I can think of right now. It's so hard. Uh, I don't know why this would be the word they would go for, but right now this would give me two shots at an E and the A, and it'll at least nail down my vowels, which is not a good plan, honestly, but it's all I have right now. Okay, so at least I got my E's and A's. Hyena, hyena. Let's go. Got it. All right, Rose Grace, what's up? Welcome to the stream. It's good to have somebody chatting. By the way, I am sort of just chilling until people chat with me. I'm not going to come up with my own topics, just FYI. So if you took the SAT, though, let me know how you did. And let me know what's going on. How you're feeling, and if you have what your next step is going to be. AP Lit final. Oh, nice. What? How are you feeling about it? Soul has just come out. Okay, that's interesting. Is that because of the news? Soul has just come out in connections. Yeah, you know what? Alright, it's fine. It's my cat. Good luck on the AP Lit though. MCQs, why? Are you? I don't know how familiar you are with my strategies. Are you more or less familiar? Like, yeah, how familiar are you with the test taking strategies that I talk about? Oh, you're a former student. Oh, have I seen you recently? Okay, I might have seen. Have I physically seen you recently? If that's the case, then I can have a guess who you are. So AP Lit, MCQ. Yeah, I think Grace, I kind of figured it was you. Yeah. MCQs. Who wrote the questions? Who wrote the questions? Is it your teacher who wrote the questions, or is it like official College Board questions? Sock, slug, blow, belt. This is for attacking, like punching. Okay. And okay, it's from AP Classroom. It's College Board. So what that means is you can use more or less the same strategy, except now the big difference is for AP Lit, you have to be able to break down the passages and identify the transitions. And the transitions are now going to be, much more literary. So exactly. And now I have a whole rant about this for the old SAT for the long passages, but you have to have a good map of the passage in your head. I actually don't know what it's like to look at I haven't seen it. I haven't seen how the AP Lit questions have changed over time. If it's like the old school ones, you'll have general questions, right? And then you'll have like line by line questions, and then you'll have more general questions at the end, something like that, right? So you have like a long passage or poem or whatever, drama, like it could be like a playwright, play, a script. I forgot what the word is right now. Screenplay, not screenplay, but anyway, a script. It could be whatever, and if the hard part of long passages is having the right map of the passage in your head. So that just goes back to what I taught you in class and what I talk about fairly frequently online, which is identify transitions. Dude, the meter and rhyme and stuff. Yeah, so if it's college board questions, they will care. They're gonna ask you maybe like 1 out of 10 questions. It will literally be matching the the particular literary trope or literary device that they use and identifying it. But generally, they don't. No one really cares whether you can identify. It's more about how it's used for a particular effect. So just being able to call it by name isn't really that impressive. And I don't think, especially with the way that the College Board has kind of shifted the emphasis, unless for whatever reason the AP Lit people are just totally different. But I'm gonna assume they're not totally different from the rest of the College Board. Um, I'm gonna assume they're not gonna actually just test you on just identifying the rhetorical device that often. Maybe 1 out of 10 times maximum, even less, I think. So so instead of focusing on that, I would really focus more on just like understanding what the passage is saying. Like what is happening in the passage? Who are the characters? Who feels what? This character is happy or sad or angry or annoyed or disillusioned, right? Just figuring out the feelings of the characters or whatever. If it's poetry, then figure out the feeling of the speaker. Like if the speaker is all talking about I blah 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 I blah 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 you blah 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 I blah 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 blah, then try to figure out what the I is feeling, right? Like those are the real basic stuff that you need to pay attention to, and those will give you most of your points. Not the stupid little anaphora or epistrophe or anadiplosis. Like these are not things you need to know, and these are really not things honestly the College Board needs to test high schoolers on. It's kind of useless to know. So yeah, just like what is a heroic couplet? Do you really need to know that? Like not like if you want to get into history or poetry, yes, but bro, it's not really that. It's more about the structures that you want to. It's good to know these things because then you can learn how to shape language to your will, but it's not. You shouldn't be directly getting tested on it that much. So the problem with the time, I can't actually recommend a time just because I haven't seen AP Lit questions in such a long time. I don't have a specific time that I can say. Um, but I will say that if you just watch my old SAT run-throughs, you'll notice that I spend more time than usual than most students. Hang on, I think on the old SAT, you have to spend like less than 13 minutes or something like that on a passage on for most passages, right? Right. You were for an easy passage, you're trying to spend 10 minutes total. For a harder passage, you can spend up to like 15 minutes, but you're trying to average less than 13 minutes per passage. So if it's like a 13-minute passage for me, then I would actually spend like a large amount of time, maybe like 6 minutes on just the reading of it, and then um, I'll kind of run through the answer choices with like I don't know, like in like 5 minutes or whatever, and then I'll have the remaining 2 minutes left over at the end of the test, so I can come back to it and double check or whatever. It's something like that, right? And it's like if you wanna, it's a lot harder to pace yourself on a long passage, but you need to practice it basically, and that's what the school year is for. You're practicing your pacing, and I do encourage you to be brave by spending a little bit more time on the passage than you think you have to, as long as you're developing a good map of the passage. You shouldn't just be spending your time just to spend more time, right? Slowness for slowness sake is not good at all, but when you're trying to build the map of the passage in your head, that naturally slows you down, right? And that gets scary, right? It's scary. You feel like you shouldn't slow down on the passage, but I encourage you to be brave and just build out the map of the passage and then just eat that time and then see what happens on the answer choices. Can you do no look answers? And this no look answers become a lot more important on the long passages, by the way. So this is something I talked about a lot in for the old paper SAT. But can you Can you look at a question, predict the answer, match the answer, and without even looking back at the passage, you just know that that answer is correct. Zero process elimination. You move on to the next question. You want to have a couple no look answers for every question for every passage. All right, that's it for now. So yeah, just generally, my strong recommendation is to build out the map of the passage, even if it slows you down on the passage. Okay. Squeeze. Yeah, I guess this works. To sandwich it in, to squeeze it in, to cram it in. There we go. Indy, Greyhound, Caterpillar, and I mean, these are brands, I guess, based on animals? Brands based on animals? Sure. Okay, good. Indy 500, Rap 500, Soul 500, Metal 500. Indy, Soul, Reps, Metal. Dude, I have no idea what this is referring to. Indie, uh, Sola, Soul. Kakioin, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Okay. Uh, okay, and it looks like we might have some more viewers. Sometimes YouTube's a little glitchy. It doesn't tell me how many people are actually here. But if you are here, say hi and share your predicted scores. These are music genres. Homonyms for music genres. I heard on Reddit that did I say homonyms? I meant homophones, but anyway, that's me being a bad English teacher. Okay. Anyway, I heard on Reddit that Module 2, I kind of briefly noticed on Reddit that Module 2 people were freaking out for the math section. So is that true of you guys as well? "2024 #1 hit by Shabuzi." Dude, there's no way I know that song. "Deplete." Use up. Handrail. Isn't that a bar, I think? Fasteners that click. Can't think of that. Incomplete. Stubs. Those are stubs. I actually know this. Um, Italian resident. I don't know the resident. I know Pisa, but yeah, I don't know who that is. Okay, the magic flute. Don't know. Force. Seized by force. Can't think of that. Uses a keyboard. Wow. Types, I guess. That's really hard. Okay, watering can feature. Watering can feature. Shoot? Spout? A bar song. Okay, I'm gonna guess this is tipsy. Just gonna totally guess this. Okay. Use up. Okay. Fasteners that click. Clicking fasteners. What are clicking fasteners? Can't think of it right now. Not staples. I'm seeing some people chat, but I just kind of want to finish. I'm gonna guess this maybe is pizza, but I can't. Mozart. Per opera. Okay, opera. Oops. That makes sense. And usurp. Okay, so spout is the correct word for some. Okay, so oops. Spout. Tipsy. What the heck? And snaps. Okay, that was harder than I am accustomed to. All right, gonna share that real quick, and then let's go to chat. After the SAT yesterday, Reddit Module 2 hadn't seen different. Yes, you do get different questions. Yes, people get different questions. Okay, yeah. So Rambir, just to confirm, yes, you got a different module. People get different combinations of questions. And yes, I math module 2 apparently was really hard for people. Okay. Okay, so everyone was struggling on math module 2. Unfortunately, I can't really help with math. Um, so if you have any questions for math, you should direct it at the rest of chat. Okay, so not me because I can't really help. Um, Although part of me is thinking just for the YouTube clout, maybe I should just study math again and try to get 800. But I don't know. I think I'd rather move on to other tests rather than the SAT is kind of boring me, to be honest. Um, and then I guess there's no other questions. But what is everyone's predicted scores? What are you guys thinking? NAFTA. Okay, that's the timely watch. Let's get a watch. Watch. They're messing with me. This watch is a hand watch. Hand. Hand. Swatch? Swatch? Hand. Hmm. Timely theme. Christmas? Cow? Cannoli? Canor. Um, 1300. Rough. I feel you, man. You're not feeling very confident. Oh, you got the easy module for math? Okay. All right. Well, good luck, guys, because sometimes you don't get what you want, but I think the important thing is to keep your mind kind of in a productive place. So instead of dwelling on things that are already past that you can't control, like you can't time travel, you can't go back and change your answers or your thinking. What you can do is you can focus on just like what you learned on. Let's say you were prepping for math for the SAT for like a month before the test, right? So all of November you're prepping for the December SAT. That probably means you learned some math concepts and you probably got better at some math concepts, and there were some other math concepts where you kind of get it, but you don't fully understand, right? So I would actually encourage you to just focus on that. Just move on to the next. Just move on to the next challenge for you, which is depends on whether you're a senior or junior or whatever. But if the next challenge is if the next challenge for you is still a purely like if it's still academic, then I urge you to just focus on what you can do to improve your math, right? Like if your statistics is weak, then go like just spend more of this time focusing on statistics or whatever, right? And just keep moving forward because as long as you are building up your base knowledge, um, on average, your score will improve. Okay. Yeah, sure, you might panic one day and that might lead to a shitty score, even though you have all the knowledge necessary for a better score, right? So that can happen, right? Shit happens. But if you just have a higher base, then even your worst will not be as bad as your previous worsts, right? So just keep building up your knowledge base, and focus on other things that you can control, right? Not the past. Uh, just getting like a move on things can make you feel surprisingly a lot better. Canna Canna log. Uh, all right, I quit. Oof, what the face? Okay, face. So strap. Where's the strap? Give me a strap. Give me a bezel. Give me a bezel. I got a bezel. Okay, it's the anatomy of a. Give me a strap. Give me a watch. Parts. Watch. Watch. Okay, I can't think of but watch is definitely part of this um, pangram that I'm looking for. Anyway, what else is there? There's like a face. There's a bezel. There's a hand. Where's the hand? Give me the hand. Hand or hands. Hands. Okay, so we got the hands now. What else makes up a watch? By the way, guys, if you're coming in late, I mean, I might as well just paste this back in. Here. Hey guys, I'll be responding to chat whenever I see a question I can help with. Otherwise, I'll just be doing my own thing. Word games, Discord, Reddit, blah blah. So if you're here, just say hi and say hi. Okay. Yeah, so just in case you guys might be confused that I'm not like like I don't have a topic. I don't have a topic. This is office hours. You come up with a topic, I will reply to your topic. So that's it for me right now. I'm just trying to get through this. What are some other parts of a watch? There's a watch, a face, a bezel, there's hands, there's strap. I'm still looking for a strap. Do I have an S anywhere? S. Okay, I guess not. Links, are those links? What do you call those things that, like the, on the strap? Notches? I don't know, man. What are those things on the at the edges, like the bro, I do not know the parts of a watch. Salt is definitely not it. Silt. Watchwords. I was not expecting that. Complications? Is there a word for complications? I don't get complications here. Okay. Row. Crow. Glocks. Dude, why is luxury? Okay, we're just using any random watchword that's not just parts. Okay, got it. Face, hands, luxury, bezel. Military? Dude. Diving, luxury, military, naval, digital. Wait, what the? Digital, quartz, manual. What do you call that? Automatic. All right, guys, if you're just joining, just let me know what your predicted scores are and how you're feeling, and how you're feeling about your SAT. There are two more words in here. On the real test, do you remember what it was that, was it environmental? Like, was it something in your environment that was bothering you? Do I need to use another hint? I am getting bored with this one, so I'm just gonna use the hint. Uh, Crown. Oh, wait. But is that right? There are crowns on watches. Totally forgot about that. Okay. And then this is analog. Okay. Had to use two hints for that. Okay, that's it for word games. I'm actually currently reading Anna Karenina. So many books to read. So many books to read. All the Pretty Horses. Sons of Lovers. I kind of want to read Beloved just because I heard it, because I've never read it. I could go back to Shakespeare. Okay, I'm seeing I'm seeing some questions. Let's go back to chat. You took December SAT. Mullen took December SAT. Read about 10 books, level 2 and 3. Okay, so you feel like you got 100% on module 1, but module 2 you're not too sure of, and math you're hoping for perfect, so maybe somewhere in like the 1550 range. If you got like maybe 3 or 4 questions wrong, then 1550-ish, something like that. That'd be a very good performance. So it seems like you're pretty confident, ish, but you're saying I guess, so you also don't sound 100% confident either. Either way, good luck on that test. By the way, guys, if you have any questions about grammar or vocabulary that, came to mind because of the test, I can actually answer any questions that you have about those as well. Let's go to Abdusalam. Yeah, all the people cannot concentrate because of the people. So, I mean, it might just help to. So, my whole thing about focus, there's like physiological things you can do to make your body feel more like awake, right? There's like mental, psychological things that you can do to just generally calm down. But I ultimately think focus is about chunking your tasks into smaller and smaller pieces. So, for example, okay, let's pretend that I just pull up some random SAT question. So here, let me just pull up just a random question, okay? And this is just a random question, okay? And you may or may not have solved this. I'm not going to solve this right now. The point of this is not to solve it. It's to explain what I mean by chunking your tasks into smaller chunks. So what if I gave you 2 instructions, right? I gave one instruction to Abdusalam number 1, and I gave a different instruction to Abdusalam number 2. Okay. To Abdusalam number 1, I say, "Hey, get the correct answer." Okay, that is my instruction. Get the correct answer, right? How long of an action is that? Just think about it. You don't have to actually. Well, you can type it if you want to, but you don't have to. Just think about it. Like, how long of an action is that? How many seconds, how many minutes of an action is that, right? Well, it's definitely not like a 10-second action. You can't just get the correct answer in 10 seconds, right? It's a very long instruction. It's like me telling a striker in a soccer team, "Hey, score a goal." like, okay, I'll go score a goal, right? But it's not necessarily something I can do in the next 10 seconds, right? It maybe takes 20 minutes or 40 or 90, because it depends on my positioning, depends on the midfielders, depends on this ball delivery and service that I get. It depends on like the offsides trap and whether I'm managing. There's so many other things that go into that action of putting a ball in the net, right? Just like score a goal, that's ridiculous. It's a really hard task instruction. And then to Abdus Salam number 2, I say something like, hey, figure out the logical relationship between sentence number 2 and sentence number 1. Now, how long of an action is that? How long of an how many seconds, how many minutes does that take for you to figure out the logical relationship between sentence number 2 and sentence number 1? I would say that's somewhere in the range of like 10 to 15 seconds now, right? That's something you can actually do in time. Like, it's not, if I say something like, get the correct answer, that could be anywhere between 1 minute and 3 minutes, right? But here, I mean, it's just read the first sentence. And then in 2007, he was working on converting printed books into digital. And then he found that, oh, notice I said and then just automatically. I just did it subconsciously. So I already, subconsciously, I kind of had a Freudian slip and I showed you what I was thinking. I was thinking that this is a sequence. This is something that happens first and then it happens second, right? It's a sequence. And then he found that some words were distorted enough that scanners couldn't recognize them, but humans could read them, right? And then now I can give myself a next I can give Abdus Salam number 2 a follow-up instruction. What's the relationship between the second sentence and the third sentence? And then he can say, oh, okay, the second sentence and the third sentence, the relationship is that this result over here is like inspiration for a invention over here. So inspiration, invention, right? This finding is the inspiration. This invention is the result, is the invention, right? So you can kind of just keep doing that. And these are tasks that you can do in about 10 to 15 seconds. And so zooming out really quickly, like if you have really complex instructions that take like 2 minutes, 3 minutes to complete, it's very easy to zone out. On the flip side, if you have instructions that only take 5, 10, 15 seconds to complete, it's much easier to stay focused. The question is, in your operating system, in your brain, do you actually have a sequence of instructions for you to follow in real time? If you don't, then you're always going to just struggle. You're always going to struggle with focus, right? Even if you do the sort of like all the tricks on Reddit, then there's some of them are good and they're creative, and I think they're inspiring sometimes, like, people will say things like, I have to try to remember this, but like, people will do pretty extreme things, but they'll talk about like drinking water in the morning, or drinking a little bit of coffee, or having a good breakfast, or sleeping well, or they'll also talk about like writing down like your like simplifying like your approach and writing it down on an index card, or reading like a newspaper, or solving a couple questions on the way there, right? They'll have all these like little things, but in the moment, what can you do to increase your focus, right? Not just your physical condition, not just your mental condition, but actually in that very second, how can you increase your focus? By giving yourself a simpler instruction to complete within a shorter amount of time. That is why video games are so addictive, because the actions that you need to perform are very obvious. You're like, okay, like even if it's a totally new video game, it's like a first-person shooter, you've never played it. The first thing that happens is you have this like gun or whatever, and then there's like your teammates, and then they start running, right? So the first instruction in your head is follow. You're just gonna follow your teammates, right? And that's not hard to do. It's just something you can do right away. You can just follow. And then, you have to, And then and then the following instructions after that, they're again very obvious. Like now you, if you want to get really good at it, then you'd have to do a lot more stuff. But like the initial experience is just like, oh, I see some character that doesn't look like my character. It's I'm red, they're blue, or whatever. I'm counter-terrorist, they're terrorist. Okay, shoot, right? That's the instruction, right? They're really obvious. So it take that approach and just apply back to your test taking, and you have the secret to focus. All right, how come my shortcuts are not working? All right. So Ace Hulk is saying it was hard to grasp the meaning of the text in inference and main idea questions. Oh, and that's the end of the question. So yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it can be hard. I'm gonna just give a really simple answer to this, guys, because this is something I've said many times in previous streams, but you might have missed it, guys. The fastest, if you want to be, okay, if you want to be the fastest reader in that room, do you know what you need to do? Just be dumber. Just stop understanding things and you'll be fine. You'll read the fastest. Conversely, if you actually want to understand a passage, you know what's going to naturally happen? You're going to slow down on the reading. People think that smarter people read faster. That's not 100% true, okay? Yes, if you control everything else, you take smarter people and less smart people, and you force them to read a passage until they understand it to the same level. In that comparison, smarter people will probably read it faster, right? They will comprehend it faster. But their actual pace of reading from sentence to sentence to sentence is not faster, okay? You can't make that, if anything, there's like a certain kind of like, there's a certain, it depends on background knowledge, but if you assume that everyone has the same amount of background knowledge, the same amount of vocabulary, same amount of biology information, same amount of history information, same amount of like literature information, right? They all have the same amount of information, and you just take just purely logical processing and reading comprehension. People with higher logical processing and reading comprehension, they'll read sentence to sentence, they'll read it slower. You'll actually find that it's the dumber people who read faster, and then they end up having to reread multiple times because they were too fast to begin with, right? And so the easiest way to increase the fastest, the best way to destroy your understanding of the meaning of the text is to read faster, okay? The faster you read, the less you're going to understand. So stop doing that. Like, seriously, just go back to what I said earlier about the instructions, having smaller, simpler instructions, and actually go back to what I specifically what I said was to identify the relationships between the sentences. That will literally take you time. It's not something that you just get for free just because you're a smart kid. You have to actually do the work. Okay, so look at sentence 1, look at sentence 2, figure out the relationship between those sentences, and then just keep doing that from sentence to sentence to sentence. You'll realize, shockingly, you actually can understand the passage, or at least the gist, the thrust of the passage, even if you don't know every single word, because you put the work in, because you understand the logical flow of the passage. Okay, so Ace Hulk, but not just Ace Hulk, just anybody who's struggling to understand a passage, I think that's really the first thing you need to do. You just need to slow down and like try to figure out sentence to sentence to sentence what the transitions are leading up to. Okay, so that's all for the questions so far. And I actually streamed a bit longer than I was intending to. I guess just late at night, so I just didn't notice the time passing away or slipping by. But I just want to say, if you have any further questions, I can just do a quick fire, but you just need to ask them very quickly because I'm going to wrap this stream up and move to the members only stream. Okay. So if this video was helpful for you guys, please hit that like button. It helps me out, helps other people in the world through the YouTube algorithm know that I'm out here and providing advice that isn't really common on the internet. So that would help me out, but it would also help out your fellow peers around the world. This other thing is if you want more reading writing content, I'm going to keep doing more reading writing content. I am doing SAT content, and I have a pipeline of things that I want to do. But yeah, my work situation is getting a little funny, so things are slightly in turmoil. I'll see what happens, and there is a chance I might start pivoting towards LSAT and GMAT and GRE a little sooner than I was expecting to. But regardless, I'm just always going to be doing reading content. And I haven't been doing the book club in a while, but I do want to bring that back at some point. So there's a bunch of stuff I'm doing with reading writing. And if you just generally want to improve your reading writing by getting down to like actual skills instead of just like general advice, like super general advice that's kind of like inspirational, motivational, but not actually technical, right? Not actually things that you can do. Like I'm the only one that I know so far that's actually giving technical instructional advice. That's, so that's me. If you want more of that, please subscribe to my channel. And some of you guys have been following me for a bit, so you all know this, but I do a members only stream just to extend my time for people who are supporting my channel. If you want to be a supporter of my channel, you can look at the description down here, and then there's a link to joining my channel membership. I do a weekly stream for everybody, and then I transition to the members only stream where we can have a sort of more private and smaller environment to chat in. So that's me. What can you expect, Abdul? Two mistakes, 0, 1. I think for reading, if you had 2 mistakes on the first module, then at least one of those is going to penalize you kind of heavily. So you might be surprised that 4 mistakes, that even though it's only 4 total, in module 1 you probably shouldn't. If you literally only made 2 mistakes in module 2, because module 2 will usually tend to be a lot harder than module 1, it means you did make a silly mistake or 2 in the first module. So I'm gonna guess somewhere in like 750 for 4 mistakes. Could be lower, it could be 740, but I'm gonna guess 750. Okay, for the reading writing. And then for math, 1 mistake, I honestly don't know the math curve very well, but as far as I can tell, 1 mistake on math module 2 should be like 790 or still 800 from what I can tell, from what I've kind of like absorbed from the air. Herman Melville, Perplexity, 1 line. Okay. Herman Melville, maybe that's a book. Maybe I should read some Melville, honestly, I haven't read Moby Dick in a long time. It's been more than a decade since I read Moby Dick, so maybe I could go back to Moby Dick. But yeah, the Melville is hard to read. I would actually not recommend just going straight into the deep end with Melville. I'd recommend going with maybe. I feel like Hawthorne is not as hard to read, so maybe start with Hawthorne, who's his contemporary, same time period, and kind of work your way into that time period, right? Because yeah, dude, not easy. Yeah, I mean, it will help. It's not easy, but if you challenge yourself, the reward is that you'll get. If I'm just going to the gym every morning and I'm going on the treadmill and I walk 15 minutes on the treadmill, congratulations to me. I am fitter. I'm healthier than like 90% of the American population. Okay, right? Just the fact that I'm going to the gym and walking on the treadmill for 15 minutes, I am healthier than 90%. But here, you guys aren't trying to be in the top 90%. You're not trying to be in the top 10%, right? A lot of you guys here in watching my streams, you're trying to be in the top 1% or top 0.1%, right? Because we're talking about scores like 750. or 700 or, or 800, it depends on you guys. Um, for you to get from the top 10% to the top 1%, now it becomes suddenly a lot harder. Like now, you can't just be walking on the treadmill for 15 minutes. Now you need to like do like squats and deadlifts and like, bench presses, shoulder presses, whatever, right? You have to do a lot more to get into the top 1%. And so surprisingly, it's actually really easy to be in the top 10% in the whole scheme of things. It's always um, what's it? There's like a little mantra in engineering, in software engineering that let me try not to butcher this. The last 10% of the work, yeah, I'm gonna just say it. I think it's correct. The last 10% of the work is 90% of the work. Does that make sense? The last 10% of the work is 90% of the work. It's actually way more work to finish off the thing, right, than to just get close to the thing. And so it is with trying to get 800, right? It's way more work to get from 700 to 800 than it is to get from anywhere to 700. So it's good to challenge yourself with really hard things like Melville, Faulkner, Flannery O'Connor. Trying to think of hard things to read, but I don't know why I can't think of them. Just poetry, even just really good to challenge yourselves because they're going to be harder than the SAT. And then if you're used to things that are harder than the SAT, then the SAT will feel comparatively easy. All right, long chat out of the way, guys. Thanks as always for supporting my channel, and I'm hoping that I am at least being helpful to you in some way. So good luck as you proceed from the December SAT to whatever your next major challenge is. And, always keep the mind that, the next challenge will just make you better. So you don't lose track of the kind of larger meaning of this suffering. Okay. It's not just about this one number. It's about your overall growth and your overall development as an intellectual, as an academic, as an engineer, as a scholar, as a whatever, right? All right, so with that out of the way, I'm going to move on to the members only stream. Keep on learning, guys, and keep on growing. Peace.